council. If you would turn to page 6,
12.
Actually, page 12 and 14, my bad.
12 and 14.
It is. My numbers are so screwed up.
First department, Mark, that we'll address is public health and works, or public works health. I think this one is pretty self-explanatory.
Yep, not much to
I
it
don't know
there.
what Public Works Health even
I
is.
don't either.
Mosquitoes.
Mosquito spray.
Oh, I wondered what the Altozoid is. I
Well,
thought
then
that
why
was.
don't we call it mosquitoes?
Because that's what the state calls it for the fund.
Should be just public health, no worse.
I agree.
I would agree with you on that one. I'll put mosquito in parentheses for Brad.
Ready to roll?
We are rolling.
You should swallow first.
295 insurance. Duet, 15,000. The barrel's a little over 11,000 right now. We're down
Down to the barrel and a little bit.
Altozoids are the pre-treatment that we put in the water hose. And that has really cut back on our duet costs substantially. So we go heavy on those, and we are out of those currently. And we also do Tempo, but we've got a good supply of Tempo, so we're not reordering any Tempo.
Okay.
The Duet and the Altozoid, though, you were ordering a bunch more this year, wasn't you?
Yep. Budget this year.
Yeah, the burner up.
We usually take supplies, repairs, and maintenance out of his water budget. There's typically not a lot of them, so we don't really budget for anything because we might go 3 years without, all we have that, we have one piece of equipment, that our fogger and a pickup truck.
Moving on to the
We don't have
winners.
any gas or diesel to drive that pickup truck?
Just
Water pays for it.
Comes out of water. Okay, very good.
For the amount of times that they use that pickup for running around, doing day-to-day things for the water. Try and stretch our dollars as far as we can, right?
Page 16, the winner city pool.
14.
Oh, yeah, 12 and 14.
Now we're on 14?
Yes, sir.
14.
Personal services are, no changes there from last year to speak of. Videos and advertisements, we do some,
Is this a
what
fuel?
we put out in the paper and whatnot for the advertisements for the pool. Historically, we've been a little high on that one.
Are we a little high on the salaries though? 55,000 through July? How many days were we open in August?
We're two people, we're still we still have to pay you.
You had 5 days in August. Do you want me to get what the total is right now as of today out of pool?
Well, it seems to me like
Yeah.
if we spent 55,000 through July 31st, how the hell are we gonna spend 20,000 for 5 more days?
We're gonna get that right now.
There would have been 2 pay periods more out of that because the pay period, so we got paid on like August 1st and then again August 15th. So that August 1st payroll didn't hit the July 31st. I'll go get you the printout for current.
Because by now we should know the exact dollar amount.
Correct, yep. We'll get that hammered right down. 48,000 painting the pool.
What did the guy say, when he went that day about being school?
He called me back, he gave me a quote, which was $47,500. In his recommendation was that the pool needed it. There are some, over the past 6-7 years, we've had to cut into that pool at the bottom a number of times to fix some leaks and stuff. that caulking is starting to get bad, and then, when you paint on those, in those areas, the paint gets heavy in there, and it's starting to peel up, and, we had a few complaints this year, kids that, caught something sharp on the bottom of the pool.
That's probably epoxy paint, is it not? Epoxy?
Yeah, well, it's like all those paints that they make these days. It's a paint that's made to wear away. So much wears away every year. So much wears away every year. So it's a flaking paint. I
Yep.
don't know. I can't tell you the name of it, but and it's a better product because when that paint wears for so many years, then they don't have to do as much sandblasting, and then they're not painting over heavy layers of paint, and
Okay.
so it just cuts down on the. But that's the kind of paint it is. Same
Okay.
thing that we painted those wall towers with in the silver tank. It's like a metallic. It's a flaking paint. I guess looking at the pool, if this is something that we had, if you're looking for some place to cut, we could probably, do a little caulking and patching up. Mark and I have talked about this. We've got some feet, like the slide needs to be painted, and he never gave us a quote on. He just gave us a quote on the pool, doing the pool itself. The uprights of the slide are starting to show some rust. I think it would be a good idea to maybe budget, maybe for a year down the road, and get all that done at one time, so that everything is up to date. But I think we could slide another year on
Not the pool itself, just the
Thank you.
features.
the pool itself. Everything.
Put it
You're
on
saying do
hold
the
for a year.
features and the pool all in 1 year?
So you're not bringing them back twice, because you're gonna pay, you're gonna pay for them to come back. and
Mobilization charges. that
While
what you
they're
call it.
here, they can do them both.
It's,
So in your opinion, we could take that 48,000 out for 24?
Yes,
Huh?
yes.
But just be aware, next year, he's gonna come
gonna
for
have to do
60 or something like that.
It's gotta be done next year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pool floor, the pool bottom, has gotta be done next year.
Okay, I can live with that.
For 25? Yep.
And it'll be more
25,
because
24,
more,
I'm hearing two different stories. You're saying next year,
I'm saying we need a budget for it.
no,
425.
yeah.
Okay, that brings us down to
So we're taking the 48 out?
72,885.
Yes.
Circle that one, because we
That's
may
my
want to put
opinion.
that back in
Yeah,
if
Mark,
if we find enough elsewhere.
Okay.
I like the opinion of not doing it, so.
From what we heard from the guy, it needs it. People are complaining about poking things on the floors.
So
What I've told council, I will tell council, that takes our deficit to a balanced budget to 72,885. As we work through these other departments, and maybe you get to a surplus that we've got more revenue than expenses, this might be something you want to come back to put back into this year's budget. Let's just,
That being the case, though, I would like to say, if we have a surplus and we think about doing the painting of the pool, we need to add the other things that need painting.
I would be, I think
Okay.
that's a good idea.
So, as long as we remember that.
Yep.
Because there's no sense having him come 2 years in a row to paint
No, you wanna get everything.
in one
I
trip.
think that's a mistake we made a couple of years ago, is we had somebody come in and paint just some features.
Yeah.
And so we paid them to come in and paint those features. Now, those features are not due for a painting, and everything else is due for a painting. You kinda like to get on a rotation where everything gets done in the same year, so it's all in the same, so that you can kinda plan for it.
Yep, yep.
That way, 5 years down the road, we're gonna have to repaint everything again, and you can kinda plan and get it all done at once.
Because I think we are on the route to not being in the deficit.
I do believe so.
Anymore. And this is an item that, if they're getting snagged on their toes now, they're gonna get snagged on their toes next summer too, if we don't take care of that problem. And if somebody should get cut by one of those snags, and we know about it,
We'll have to do a little touch-up.
it's our responsibility to fix that.
We're gonna have to order 5 gallons of paint, and we're gonna have to do a little touch-up painting this spring, and we're gonna have to
Yeah.
we're gonna have to trim out some of that hard paint, and we're gonna have to, we'll have to smooth it over.
Or if we approve the repainting of the pool, they'll do all that. Okay.
what would the extra features be? Do you know, I mean, for cost wise?
He did not give me a cost
Did-
on that.
No guess on it?
I didn't even ask you, because that's gonna get, it's gonna get expensive.
It is, okay, so like 60 probably would that
I
cover?
would say double.
Okay, so you're talking about 100,000. Okay.
And this is,
Like I was saying, maybe we won't have any surplus at the end of this budget cycle.
so if we budgeted it next year for 2025, is that something they can come in and do in the spring?
We can either do it in the spring or in the fall after the pool stream. So if he did not get on the list, he's about a year behind. I mean, he's setting up appointments about a year in advance. This guy that we talked to, ever since the pool was new, it's his company that's came and painted it. We haven't gone out and got other quotes or anything yet. So, but
I was just curious if we stretched it, if we had it done in the spring of 25, we would stretch the pool 1 year. But if he couldn't get to the fall of 25, then we're asking for 2 years out of the pool, and that doesn't sound like that's a good idea. So it would
And-
have to be spring of 2025 or budget it now.
And Austin, with my experience in pools for all my life, you don't want to plan on painting your pool in the springtime because it takes more than a day for that special paint to cure. And if you get dew or if you get a rain, now your whole painting project is screwed if it happens to get wet before full cure.
Well, then we need to
Fall
budget it
is the
now.
time to paint your pool.
We need to budget it now then, because it doesn't sound like we have 2 years of life in the pool.
he's already told me that he can't do it this fall.
So it's gonna have to
No,
be.
I'm saying
Yeah,
for,
next fall.
Yeah, for next fall, he can do it, yeah, but he's already booked
but
up.
now is when we have to budget that.
Yep, for 24, it needs to be painted the fall of 24.
If that's
Yep.
what if you can't do it in the spring, I've never painted a pool, I don't know nothing about it.
I've had pools in Valentine, Nebraska, Vermillion, and now here in winter, and it's almost impossible to paint them in the spring because of the amount of moisture that is created overnight.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yep,
I'm just telling you, he said it doesn't. He's booked fall and spring. He does a lot of pools in the spring.
sure.
He said, no problem getting this in the spring.
Next fall.
Next fall.
So do you want to leave it in, I guess, is the question.
You could come back and revisit it, or you could leave it
After we
in,
see how much surplus we have.
right?
Why don't we leave it in there, which actually isn't enough, if we're gonna do everything at one time.
Right, I agree.
We're gonna have to double that.
But, leave it in there, and at the end of the day, if we still have to do something, then maybe that's one that we look at.
Yep, I agree with you, Austin, yep.
I don't know what we're gonna do about the other 50 that we'll need to do the future.
Well, so fiscal activity at the pool right now, 71, in salaries, $71,225.07.
Yep,
There is no more that will come out.
and no more coming out of that.
So they will, I assume, get raises next year.
They do, and if they
At
come back,
6
then
point-
they get an extra little.
And what does that add up to when you add that onto
Your
this?
new employees would start at 6.5 higher than what they're at, and then if it's a returning employee, they get an additional they get the additional 50 cents per hour then. Because they're not here to get evaluations, so then they get an additional 50 cents for coming back. as
Does all the
longevity.
part-time workers get the 6.5 CPI?
No.
No,
Start.
okay,
Starting wage does.
thank you, okay, thank you very much, yep. So you said, tell me that number again, it was already at 71 something?
On your other sheet she gave
That's
you.
the end
Yep,
of the year numbers.
we're $115.77 over, so pretty darn close.
Yep,
A little bit over budget, Mike.
A little bit,
so 75.9 ought to be safe.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, okay.
The next one that I would look at is repairs and maintenance. We typically been budgeting 5,000, and that's what we budgeted for this year. We dropped that down to 2,000, and Mark's got some money. We still have $13,338 left in the pool, and he's gonna buy a recirc pump and a spare recirc and pump and motor. That's gonna be about just under $3,000, so we'll get that bought out of this year's budget. So I think that cutting the $2,000 down is fair. Supplies, year-to-date activity on supplies is,
2014.
so,
So far this year in supplies, you've spent $10,014.22.
uniforms we overspent, we budgeted 15, we spent 1608. But 15's good. Travel, schools, and conferences, we did not send a lot of guards this year. We had a lot of guards that had certification, so they just had to have the refresher, or they didn't need it. So it was kind of a down year for that. Utilities. Been running right in.
Is that a current number too?
On this page, it will be.
Oh, okay, on the other one you gave us, okay.
Utilities are at
6583.
6583, so probably cut a couple thousand off that.
I agree. Make that be 8.
It's a typical.
You still have internet out there all year long now.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're at 6583 right now, but you will still have expenses throughout the whole year.
Yeah, that's true, and we'll have, the only thing we do in the winter time is we heat one room, just the motor control room is cool, so it's just a little
Okay.
milk house heater.
So leave it at 10?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
You're at 98.
So we're not modifying this at all? No. Okay, very good.
Sewer,
Now what page?
21.
Twenty-one.
For the record, I left the pool repainting in there.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
that-
what?
I think you left the pool repainting in there, the 48,000. We're
Yep.
not, okay.
No changes. That,
We're 120, 885.
21.
So, we're missing the pool bond and pool painting is
Those are
probably
added.
gonna be a year or two gap.
The what now, I'm
A
sorry?
gap between paying the pool off and it needing painted is gonna be a couple year gap.
Almost got to end of life.
Yeah.
It's been painted once since I've been here
Well, I was
already.
just saying that money,
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
cause that pool bond money could be used to paint it, probably.
We really had to stretch it to get the state to allow us to use a pool remodel as the
But it
ability to use a
worked,
three.
but it worked.
That time, yes.
Okay.
Page 21. Sewer.
Sewer.
Any volunteer cuts?
Volunteer. Like a kidney or what?
Kidney, spleen, whatever you can give.
You know Jeremy's already looked at this, right?
Your numbers down at the bottom do show that their expenses are $73,922 more than their revenues. So this in particular fund is currently budgeted to deficit spend. With that being said, there is cash in the sewer fund that you could supplement that deficit, understanding, you know, do you want to continue to do that every year? There would be a little over $1 million in cash for the sewer fund next year, projecting.
However, most of it overspent was a highway project, correct?
That was this year, but
Yeah.
like for 2024, he's budgeted to deficit spend 73,000.
Okay.
There's one person out of sewer.
Just one person, yes.
Just Dennis.
We understand
So we're a person short in the water and sewer department, so we act, that's why the salaries is down so low. There should be people being paid, hired Dennis DL, and he, I think it was Dennis, or is it?
No, so you have 1 1/5 full-time employees that come out of the sewer. And you were short the one full-time, the full-time person out of sewer for 6 months out of the year. You paid them for 4 months, and we've since gotten a resignation letter.
Who
You're
resigned?
1/5, yes.
Who resigned?
Yes.
Well, you did. But year-to-date activity, we're not too far off. 63,000 of the 70.
Huh?
Huh?
We're at 31,000.
31,000.
Yeah, we're at 31, but that's only through
That's
into
through
July.
July, yeah. Oh, you doubled it.
I doubled it,
Gotcha.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're not too far off even with,
And it looks a little weird because it shows that you're not changing from one year to the next for your starting wage. Well, that's because they didn't budget for any bumps at all this year for sewer, and it would be coming back in at a starting rate, at a lower level entry rate. So that's kind of why there's no difference from 23 to 24 in the budget for that.
So not to be stupid, but what does a guy that works in the sewer department do?
sewer stuff.
What?
Sewer
Sewer stuff. I mean,
Well, just this morning, we were down in the splitter bit and, you know, we're down in the pit itself, you know, where it all goes to. We have problems down there, our pit was full of grease and stuff,
okay,
so.
Your water and sewer department work hand in hand, so the same guys that are in your water department, they're paid out of, there's guys that are paid out of water, there's guys that are paid out of sewer, but when you hire them in, you're hiring them into the water and sewer department because they operate both the water side and the sewer side.
Okay.
So those guys that get hired into those.
so all this really is a split up of the wage
Right.
as best we can to make it equitable.
So those guys that work for the city in those departments it's mandatory that they get certified with the state to do water and sewer.
Okay,
So they work anywhere from the lift station to the blue tank up on the hill.
Yep.
They're working on both sides all the time. So anything that has to do with sewer and water is these two departments. That's everything from your manholes to your lift station to your lines in the streets. We don't deal with the public. It's theirs. Up
Great.
to our sewer mains.
yep,
On the water side, it's ours, up to the curb stop. So. So in sewer, and I've got my set of numbers, so we set these numbers off my set of numbers because my expenses in his departments and the public works are up to date. And so what you're seeing in the year-to-date activity isn't close to what has been spent. You can see what he spent in the past on these, but repairs and maintenance, we set at 5,000. Managed IT it is what it is. He gets charged that amount monthly, so that's exactly what he's gonna get charged for the upcoming season. Same with HR testing, and that's a random pick. We never know, but it looks like we threw 150 in for that. Miscellaneous concrete, is if we do any, in the sewers, if we do any, have to do any cutouts or anything in the street, we have to repair manholes, we have to do any of that kind of stuff, that's where miscellaneous concrete comes.
is this part of the contract that we put out, do we use that?
No,
This is in addition to
this is in addition.
miscellaneous concrete contract,
Yes.
okay,
This is just in there so that, if we have a manhole or something that gets bad or anything like that, that we've got a little money in order to fix that stuff.
So when was the last time you used $5,000?
Say again,
When was the last time you used the $5,000?
we use it every year.
not
Okay.
according to this.
It doesn't, well,
In 2022, we only spent 1,000.
This, yeah,
Okay.
I'll give you that.
And this year you haven't spent any?
No, I have not.
Going to?
Normally what we'll do with our miscellaneous concrete is at the end of the year, and what I've asked for you guys to let us do in the past is when, if we have something to be fixed in the city, curb and gutter, whatever, we'll spend all of our miscellaneous concrete just to get that work done. So, we
Didn't
don't,
we talk about this a couple years ago, like around the storm sewer deal where a possible plow hit it, or, you know, go around and fix some of that stuff if there's money at the end.
I've got one on Main Street right now in front of Drew Valley.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's on DB's list to do that before the end of the year. You know, it's that kind of stuff that, once our main miscellaneous concrete has been used up, he's got 10 in water, and he's got 10 or 20 in water, and he's got 5 in sewer. So if we can get the projects done and we have time to do it, we get them done. It's something you can, I mean, that's one you can take out.
22 was the first time it was split out and not just part of repairs and maintenance. So that's the first time it's
No,
not
he's always-
showing as
He's always
part.
had miscellaneous concrete in there.
Yeah, just under.
It wasn't one of those
50, not
bullet points, though.
Because we didn't do point systems.
Wasn't of its own. I
Right,
got
the
it.
point
Okay.
system that we put in, it didn't show,
We started tracking it.
yeah.
We out of repairs and maintenance, we have that GL code .1, .2,
Yep,
.3,
yep,
.4.
yep.
We started calling out just miscellaneous.
Okay. So you say if it was 2,500, you could still get some work done?
Sure.
Is it okay, Mark, to drop it to 25?
Yeah.
Sure? Didn't seem too convinced on that one.
Nobody likes their budget getting cut.
Consulting, 5,000.
You gotta remember that, you know, this, even cutting it don't affect him any. It's the appearance of our town,
That's correct.
Yep.
you know?
Yeah.
If you wanna cut it, you know? It's busted up curbs around and stuff. If we don't wanna leave the money in there and fix them, then
Don't get fixed.
don't complain that it looks like crap.
That's no fun.
So what number are we using there?
I'm fine with whatever, I'm just explaining that, I mean,
Yeah.
it's no reason for Mark to fight back and say absolutely not. It's the appearance of the town. If you guys don't wanna spend the money, don't spend it.
Council, do you have a decision?
I'm inclined to keep it at 5, if we spend it.
Councilman Clay?
I'll always side with Brad Tran.
Brad Tram?
Okay, so what I don't want to do is the same thing I said the other day. I don't want to put money out there, and if we find something to spend it on, then they can.
That's just what it feels like, you
Yep.
know?
I don't want
Just in
that.
case,
If-
just in case.
you know,
We've been cutting that all day
If,
long.
yep, so if we get into next year and we find out that, oh my God, we need more than $2,500 to fix this manhole cover, then come back to the council and get approval to do it. Rather than, oh, we got $5,000 right here, we can spend it on this.
It's their appropriation to do that, though. They have to have that ability to manage their department and make the most logical financial decision.
Yep.
So this is the tough part, where you're appropriating. I get
Right,
it.
and then, Jody, then hence the hesitation just to leave.
I understand.
$5,000.
I
up
understand
there.
Councilman
Yeah.
Schramm's position, 100%.
On this particular issue, though, we don't have to go, you guys don't have to go looking for things to spend this money on. All you gotta do is look at that curb in front of there, and there's some curves up around my place up in there that are busted from the snow moving equipment. You don't have to go find things to spend money. It's there now as an expense to the city to spend money on if we have the money. So, you know, if you look at it that way,
I'll make it clear. This is how it works. Last year, or last couple of years, when we kind of got this sorted out, we had I'll go back to that project on, just up here on Madison Street with the post office and all that whatnot.
Yeah.
It came in, I made the decision to spend money to do some other things. That, because the work was being done, the money was there, so we did it. This is the same thing with whenever we're looking at public works. At the end of the day, next year when we start working, we're gonna look at our bottom line. We're gonna see how much money we have to spend in this budget. And then we're gonna go and we're gonna knock out the stuff that needs to be done the worst. So, it's not really, when you say $5,000 for miscellaneous concrete, it's just, all it is an addition of everything that he has in there. We're gonna knock out the worst stuff that we have to, that has to be done. I mean, if you want me to spend $5,000 in manholes, I can spend it in 10 minutes. I mean, I can tell you, I can spend $5,000 just on 6th Street, from Main Street to Washington. There's $5,000 right there, manholes that all need to be raised up and concreted around. But will we do that with it? It's not necessarily what we're gonna do with it. We're going to do what needs to be done the worst, and we're gonna, that's,
In
Triage.
to kind of piggyback off of your statement and parallel it with Councilman Cluntz, ultimately, Troy is tasked. I've appointed him, he's hired a supervisor, you guys have approved this. He is the guy that is trying to make this city the best looking city possible. He's not wasting, I don't see us wasting, but it goes back to, we're entrusting the appointed and the hired supervisor to make this the best city possible.
And that's where, down the road, I mean, you trust that the GL codes here are itemized, you know? Yeah, after this is all approved, he has X amount of dollars to spend. You trust that your supervisor and public works director is somewhat staying close to what their budgeted numbers were for each line. And if it becomes a problem, then say, well, you didn't do any work, but you bought 4 new pickups, then that's when the change happens. You know, I mean, you know, you gotta trust your employees that they're gonna somewhat follow it.
So I don't care what you do with the 5,000. We need to know, am I putting it back in?
we gotta get to our numbers, so.
We do have to get to our number.
If you wanna cut that back, if you wanna cut that back to $2,500, I have no problem with that. We'll, like I said, we'll find money to do what we need to do.
All right,
I agree.
2,500 then.
I agree.
118,385.
Consulting, we use Jacob on a pretty regular basis right now, but next, the highway project will be done this year. It's just, we don't have any sewer projects really yet on the, well, I guess we've got a situation up on West Land Road that might need some attention next year, so I think that's what we threw that in there for, was that $5,000. So if we have to reroute some sewers, we can use Jacob and DGR to give us some input on that.
Is DGR, they're appointed,
Yes, they are.
and how is their fee only based on if we use them? Or is it so much a month?
They have it per hour.
How do we pay them?
They have it per hour.
Per hour every time we ask them a question? Okay, okay. So that's really all they are as a consultant?
You voted on the schedule that they presented to you as a council of what their rates were
Yep.
for different
Yep, I'm
tasks.
just clarifying.
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yep.
There's probably a fee to just be able to call them whenever too. and don't-
That's a retainer,
A
but
flat yearly fee.
you don't have a
No, I
retainer
don't
fee.
think, no.
There is not.
No,
There's
no.
not.
I actually speak to Jake all the
Okay.
time on different things, and they don't charge us for that. That was
Okay.
one thing that they told us in the RFP. If you have questions, call us, you won't get charged for that. The only time you get charged is when we're working on a specific project and we're doing the work on that project.
Okay.
Okay.
We've used him, just for instance, in the past couple of months. He's been doing all of our pay requests, and we've done several easements, and that all has to be done by them. We can't do that. Supply line, 20,000. 21 budget, he used 21. 14, 13, we've been budgeting it right at, but last year we budgeted at 20. I don't think we overspent it, so. A little bit of room there.
How much?
15?
You're already at 13
Yeah,
with a
almost
$20,000
14,000 right now.
4 months to go.
Yeah,
No clue.
Yeah, I wouldn't go too
just
low,
looking
but
this year.
2,000-3,000.
2021, you spent 14. 2022, you spent 13.
Probably a little higher this year.
We're at
next
about
year.
14 right now. Right?
Unexpected stuff with the street probably came out of that, didn't it? Or supplies, like valves and stuff like that, or is that all
No, that, didn't come out of mainline.
mainline?
Sure, there is some brass, wrap clamps and stuff like that we need.
Sewer keys,
Yeah.
things like that.
Lines. With these new relines, we have to use special, Ys and Ts for the new people redoing theirs.
So 20 is pretty accurate to keep that there.
I think the rest of the budget is pretty damn close, guys.
That next line for annual memberships, we have it at 1,800, we've spent 200 this year. Typically, those bills come in January. Is there another annual membership that we haven't paid for, that we're waiting on?
Q's should be coming in next month.
What is that one?
That's our sewer
Camera
camera.
truck.
Usually in September they come in.
So is that a,
That's like 1,500.
is that a contract that they charge us to keep up to date on it? So that's not annual membership, that's more of a repairs and maintenance line that should be under versus annual membership, when it's in the supply line, is simply just a program that you are a member of. If it's a contractual type deal, we talked about this in fire hall.
It's not a contract.
So-
We just renew it every year because he does it for the support on his
The support, yeah, the software support.
Yeah, it's all.
So yeah, then it would be under software support.
We didn't sign anything with him, it's just,
So whatever, if you gotta move it to another line, if that's what you gotta do, then move it.
Okay, yeah, it would just be software support then, or computer software, which is 4341.
So I gotta ask, manhole rehab, I know you've talked about your budget, you move dollars around wherever you need them. But you budgeted 22, budgeted 30,000, shows you spent nothing. 23, you budgeted 50,000, says you spent nothing.
So
And
far.
in 24, yeah, but it seems to be a trend. I don't
Yep.
see any receipts on here. 24, you requested 50,000. Those are the kind of the things that we have to ask about.
that bill just came in.
Yep, so you just had two bills get paid, both the HydroClean, your manhole rehab just came in at 27,000, and I believe they're gone, I believe that's the only bill we'll get.
Right.
And your-
HydroClean does the manhole rehab also,
Yes.
it's part of the same project,
Yep.
okay?
And then your sewer relining just came in at a little over 81,000.
Instead of 150?
Well, that's just what the bill was this time, was
Yeah,
81,000.
will they come back, HydroClean come back?
Is there more to be done?
So here's,
Always. Half the
there's
city.
always more work to be done. So here's the problem with that, and this is what we ran into the last couple of years, is we put it out for bids, nobody bids on it. Our projects are too small for those guys to
Yep,
waste
yep.
their time on. So we call them up and we squeeze in their schedule and they show up and they get done what they can get done.
Oh,
What Mark had them do this year was shy of the 150 because we didn't get anything done last year. So we just had them do what we had them plan to do last year. And then we found that sewer up there that they couldn't reline because it had too many roots in it. It couldn't get in, we couldn't get through it. So it would have been more. They just couldn't do all that we wanted to do. The manholes, we did 5 this year. And that came in at 27,000. If you want to cut something back, we can cut, we can just do 5 every year, or.
I'm not trying to handicap you, just asking questions.
No, that's typically about what we've spent the last 2 or 3 years. We've only been able to get 4 or 5 manholes a year done.
and last year, they didn't fit us in,
Right, so we,
so that's why
That's why there was nothing a year before.
They didn't show
Good.
we got no services done in that area last year.
But when they come, they would do about $30,000.
yeah,
What kind of a
worth manhole rehab. So maybe that's the number that should be on that.
I'm sorry, I have to ask the question because in committee it's come up that the workload that they're coming in to do is not enough to get them here. Earlier, I heard Chandra indicate that you have $1 million in sewer, in unappropriated cash.
Yep.
What size project? Because we have the work to do, and we don't need to be bankrolling that money. This is one of those cases where I would ask you as council to consider, is it a matter of having them come in and do 20 manhole rehabs and let's line 50 blocks of sewer? And let's take that unappropriated cash, get a bid in here and get people in here to fix our sewers before they go rotten?
What kind of money is gonna get them in?
What kind of a project do we have to put out to get somebody to put us in their schedule?
To give us a bid.
To give us a bid and put us in that schedule? Is it gonna take a
Yeah,
$500,000,
$500,000 range,
$750,000?
$500,000, you're gonna get some bids off a project like that.
So is this something, and I'm asking Chandra and you as council, do we put out that bid and you do a supplemental ordinance and we put out the bid as soon as this budget, as soon as it's through the 20 days after second reading, you can go to bid this fall for next spring. And then if you have somebody that's willing to give you the time to come in and do the manholes and line all of these sewers, we fix problems that are out there. Instead of sitting on cash, we take care of the West Lamro, we take care of relining our other problem areas. It's stupid to sit on the cash.
Does that affect our borrowing power by spending our cash down? in the
Does
city?
not.
It's only Constitution debt.
Correct.
It's not your assets.
Correct.
Okay.
But if there's problems out there, you said if you want to do 10, you brought up 6th Street from Lamro to Washington Street. There's 6 manholes that could be rehabbed right there. Is there 20 of them out there? Is there another 50 blocks that we could reline and let's bid this right and let's get things fixed?
The last 3 years, we haven't scheduled any really significant relining projects because we've got the highway project going at the same time.
Right.
So we've been, that's been taking a lot of.
That's your focus.
I would not want to do another project, another sewer reline project next year, probably the following year, get aggressive with a bigger project. Next year, we got water meters to put in, we've got to get that project.
Okay,
done.
so is this something that we can cut out for next year?
You could do
And then let's,
that And do a bigger
And wait, and do a
project.
big project that we can get a bidder on.
We're gonna get the guys in here.
I don't hate that idea. If we got that cash available to be spent on a bigger project.
so I'm okay because the meters are of the utmost
Yeah.
importance. Our revenues, we budgeted low because our meters are going out. Chandra and I shorted those, and our revenues purposely, because that's our history. But if you take this $200,000 out of next year and focus on meters, and that's your project next year, council, you come back in 2 years for the 2025 budget, you have that money in unappropriated cash, and we put together a plan for 2025 to attack manholes with a big project, a big bid, and let's get 50 blocks, 60 blocks, 80 blocks relined. I'm okay if you guys would consider that.
And if we have a $500,000 project, you think somebody would bid it?
I do, yeah, we would get somebody to do that.
I think it's worth the gamble.
Oh, I agree.
I think it's,
I think it
I think they have
helps
a
us.
lot of work to do next year, and this might be the perfect
Troy's
time to
mentioned
pull
that
back.
Kind of needs a year off of projects because they got a bunch of crap they need to wrap up.
Little
The
things
meters,
to pick up.
Electric meters, water meters, just everything kind of needs wrapped up. Excuse me, it helps our budget bottom line this year, just like I'm reiterating the same thing you just said, which that works to solve the problem with the budget crunch we're in because of the short revenue, because of protected meters. I think it's a pretty good plan.
And if we have $1 million after this street highway project, then we don't have to be nervous about spending some of that down.
We need to, and we need to get aggressive with the
Yep,
project.
yep.
In
Okay, so we cut 50 and 150?
200,000, and now you're operating on a surplus of $71,615. Now you can paint your pool.
And let's get all that
Well,
other,
this is a different fund.
And-
Well-
and don't
So I
get-
guess if you want to.
You could transfer,
71, what
bottom
was that?
line.
Jody?
Pardon me?
Don't
71
mistake
what?
That we haven't done, because this is.
615.
our fifth year of sewer
615?
relining. We've gotten a lot of relining done.
615.
yes.
Knocked out a lot of our problem areas, so I think it's a good plan. And I think
We can do it.
let the water and sewer get caught up with their projects. Don't complicate it with another project this year, and then see what we have to budget in for a bigger project. When the highway project's done.
Yes.
Meters done and all that stuff.
But this council, for future councils, you guys understand, coming back in 2025, I'd like to see you aggressive. Go after, man, a big project, and let's really take a look next year when we have time to find out, are we gonna bid out 100 blocks? How far will $1 million go? I mean, maybe we spend
I think
750,000.
750 would be perfect.
Is there any, I'm always wondering about grants. Is there any grants for a big relining project, or is that just cash pay?
Typically, those are associated with SRF loans and rural development loans, and the grants are very minimal, and you only get them if you take a loan.
Yeah.
So Jody and I, and he sat in and he got a good, he got a good earful on when we sat up in Pier and listened.
Yeah.
And those are all gonna come in at like 1% to 3% loans. The grants are not
Minimal.
Not real available for that kind of stuff. Now, if we were doing complete
Probably
sewer
get the
replacement,
infrastructure bill.
because of the size of the project and the money that's gonna be involved. in-
They're quick to do loans, and you pointed this out that day. They're quick to do loans because they're earning interest on their money back into their fund. The grants, they're not so interested.
But
in.
Yeah,
eventually, the
that's it.
federal government's gonna run out of money to give us.
Yes.
Correct.
Well,
I mean, all the
that
money
printing
we're
machine's
giving
gonna
you
break
credit.
at some point.
But also, they can control how much you charge them too, when you
They
start taking
can.
out those loans. Ask Miller how that's
Do
working.
we need, I know we're out of the red now, so I hate to be the guy who wants to spend.
Let's keep cutting.
Do we need to get something in here to take care of that land road mess that we've talked about for a couple of years?
Austin, would you say that louder? I didn't hear.
Do we need to put something in here to take care of that Lamro sewer mess?
Good point.
So
I mean,
we are, we're working on that problem right now. It's that sewer line that we're talking about is full of tree roots. And,
Is what, please?
Full of tree roots.
Okay,
Mark and his crew are working on that right now. We don't know yet until we get those roots out of there and we can get a camera in there and see what we have. But that is a deep sewer. It's 17, 18 foot deep up there. It's runs right between properties. We've already decided that if it is bad enough where we can't do anything with it, we're just gonna reroute sewers. We're gonna abandon that sewer. It's so close to people's properties that if we dug it, we'd be buying houses. So we would just abandon that sewer and we would route it a different direction.
how will it be the people's responsibility to hook up to it then?
No, it'd be ours.
Okay, so every house would have to be rerouted to the new sewer line.
It's
There's
only
only
like
two.
2 houses. It's just 2 houses. It's a short
Okay.
stretch of 2 houses.
Very good,
Half a block.
okay?
so not a terribly expensive deal.
No, and we could do that. I mean, with engineering, and
We have a 17-foot backhoe?
we would not put it that deep.
Oh, okay.
It's just deep because of where it sits currently.
You could engineer it.
I'm
to
just
be
curious,
not
we've
deep.
talked about we've kind of briefly talked about this problem for a couple of years, and one of these years it's gonna be an emergency.
Or was it last year or 2 years ago, we had the manhole's been rehabbed, so the manhole's in good shape. It's just the section of sewer from that manhole to another manhole that is in question. HydroClean couldn't get in it, we couldn't get it cleaned out, we couldn't get a camera in there, so if we can get it cleaned out and it's in good enough shape, we'll reline it and it'll be good. We just don't know yet until we get it cleaned out. But the sewer flow's fine. We've never had any issues up there. No complaints from customers or anything yet. It was just on our list because of the way, where the sewer lays and the difficulty to replace it, if we had to replace it. And so it's on our reline list so that we don't have those issues.
Okay. So before we move on from sewer, you've eliminated 200,000 from this particular budget that have put you into a positive position. You talked about the Vector truck. Are the repairs and maintenance for the current Vector truck in this budget? Or do we need to take a look at that and get repairs and maintenance and get that truck
We're
fixed?
gonna pay for that this year.
You can pay for that this year. Okay.
All right.
Good. Page 19.
So you cut 200.
But we haven't addressed Austin's issue.
We need to know what the cost is gonna be, though.
Okay,
That's where you can do a supplemental budget and use cash to pay for that.
When we
too.
find out.
When know
Yeah,
what
we
the
need to
cost
let
is.
them gather as much knowledge from the information they're getting back as they possibly can.
okay, very good. Now what page?
So you cut
19.
$202,005. $500.
2,000.
Yep,
200 and
205.
2,500.
That's the biggest cut yet.
Page 19 now?
Yep.
Yep. Water fund.
Water.
Look at the final buyout
Look at,
on the right side. There goes the 71,000.
So I got two different answers on that. So Grossenberg's, their rep said that we would have to pay that 71,000 yet this year. I'm not sure who you spoke to, but you said, no, we don't have to pay that till next year. So, on that backhoe.
I came from RDO.
Okay, well, I just talked to their person that does their bookwork and asked what the loan thing said so I could get understanding.
It's a lease.
So it says 81,000 is what we buy it.
Oh, that's a buyout?
Yes.
Yeah, they can keep it.
Yep.
That's due, that's end of next year.
Okay.
That's 12/17 of 24, yeah.
So
Right.
don't we have to have that budgeted if we're gonna buy it out?
Yes.
We need to decide that?
Yes.
Yes.
We need to decide if we want to try to buy it out, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, you gotta put it in the budget for 2024, we are.
Agree.
Correct. Which there goes the 71.
Because that's going to be in addition to the 14,000 in lease payments
You can
for
transfer.
24.
They have it. They're gonna make 114 next year.
So they could put that in there. They're still at a negative.
So is that worth keeping?
I have no idea what kind of shape it's in, how many hours are on it, or anything. Yeah.
It's what?
It's in great shape.
So it'd be worth it to us for 71,000 to buy it out?
The backhoe that we're talking about is one that we leased a couple years ago. We went after that one. It's the one that's the side shape. It goes from side to side.
For the cemetery, or,
It's got the down, it's got the,
straight down riggers.
it goes straight down so that we've been using it on water projects, so we're not damaging curb and gutter. They use it in the cemetery exclusively now to dig graves because they don't have to sit down on other grave sites. They sit right down on the grave itself. But they did, John Deere has discontinued that model. They no longer make it, so,
Or one like it?
yeah,
Okay.
nobody does.
So you buy it out, you keep it.
So we either have to go back to a traditional backhoe or buy that.
Do you think it's worth $72,000?
Oh,
Then that should be in our budget if we think we want to buy that. That 72 needs to be in this budget. Correct?
that's how I see it. It says
I-
buyout on 12/17 and
12/17.
24.
Impacts next year's budget.
Yep.
Your revenues cover a buyout if you choose to do this, and the overall budget, if you buy this out, is still $360 to the positive. So
Well, now is the time to make that decision, though.
It
Right, of
is.
course,
One,
he's
oh,
just
yes.
Telling you the numbers.
You're in good position both in this enterprise and overall budget if you
Yep.
say yes.
So if you look at the bottom, this enterprise will make, before you add that buyout in there, this enterprise would make 114,000 next year.
I feel we need to buy that backhoe, several reasons. Good machine, and we couldn't get a different one right now. Those are the things you get, because if we don't buy it, we're gonna be like, damn, wish we
I
had
agree.
that.
We need to add that to our budget. Another line, probably.
Yes.
That
it
would be
It'd
equipment?
It'd be under equipment, yeah.
72,
Can we check on this? Can I call RDO and make sure? I thought
Yep.
it was 2025.
You're more than welcome to.
We
Yeah,
need the
I
right
just went to
information,
the,
so check it.
the financial
I
person.
hope she's wrong. Call them up.
Well, I can go get you the paperwork right now.
Yes.
okay?
Let's make sure.
Let's make sure. That's
The
fine.
paperwork should show it.
Because we don't actually finalize this today, right? Next meeting?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so all we're doing today is just putting preliminary numbers together.
That is correct.
And then
Brad.
we gotta make sure that they get typed in right before the next meeting.
That is correct.
That is a true statement.
Only because she was gone.
That is a true statement.
Let's take a look at your other lines while she's grabbing that information.
What other line, please?
Let's just start at the top and look at them and work through those.
I'm gonna start with repairs and maintenance. Personal services are, they're projected out by the finance office. I don't project out personal services.
Correct.
He's historically spent over $5,000 in repairs and maintenance. Manage IT is, that's projected out. Well maintenance, that, we came up actually, we actually overspent this year, we were 37,000, we did 2 wells. We're supposed to do another 2 wells. So,
How many do you expect to do next year? 2 again?
yeah,
And you spent 37 to do the 2?
this year, but we had some, we ran into a few more issues this year than we normally do.
Okay. My question is, do we need more than 35?
I think it's all, with one of the wells this year, we had to get a whole new, balloon on the well, and that's what ran it over.
Okay. So you think 35 will be okay?
Yep.
Okay. Is 5 enough, though? I mean, you haven't spent only 5,000 in repairs and maintenance ever. I'm concerned about that number. Maybe you tried to cut too
42.50.
much. I mean, you had 10,000 one year, you had 20,000 the next year. This year, in half a year, you had 6,000 when you budgeted 5. You're only half a year through. I wonder if you're, unless something else got moved from
I don't
repairs
know.
and maintenance to something else.
They're looking at the contract. Are you listening to Brad, or are you looking at the contract too?
Looking at the contract.
It almost looks like maybe a well got, well maintenance, looks like a new line. I wonder if that was coming out of repairs and maintenance. being sold down.
I think he's up on line 4250, Austin. Brad is looking at 4250.
I was looking at 4250 repairs and maintenance.
Yeah, and I'm looking at, you're at all 0000.
Yep.
I'm looking at 0003.
And I understand that could have been well maintenance got posted to the repairs and maintenance.
Can I make a motion?
No,
No.
Adjournment.
no, because somebody else seconded it. Now,
All in favor, aye?
Man,
you made a motion to adjourn. Is anybody going to second that?
Not yet. Bullshit. Just because you made your goal, you want to quit. There's nothing wrong with going less than what we need to spend.
We need to find pool money, 50,000 for the pool to paint the whole thing.
I actually agree with you, Brad, that I do think
That's-
it is too low budgeted. There are things that did get moved around in 4250. I will wholeheartedly agree with that, but I do think the 5,000 is not enough money.
Okay. Well, it's terrible to find out next August.
That you're gonna be at 6,000 when you only budgeted 5, and you got 4 more months to
Go
go.
up.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I agree with whoever said well maintenance may have got posted from repairs and maintenance in years past.
When is the buyout?
It
Did we
did.
figure that out?
It is this year,
Okay.
or 24, yeah.
So Troy was,
We're plus $397.
What is the
Over.
buyout?
It's 24. and it's
24.
Not 71.
It is, in 2024.
so
Okay.
was Troy right or
71,000.
wrong?
Troy was wrong. It's
71,000
this
at the
December.
end of 2024.
You're wrong.
I can't believe I couldn't believe we've had it since 2020.
Yeah, because I motioned to buy it. That was on council last time.
So we'll come to that here in a second. We're addressing line 4250, Brad's original concern. $5,000
Yeah, I
is
agree.
not enough. Chandra agrees
I
that,
really wonder about that. Maybe it should be 10 to 14, rather than 5. But I don't have any idea.
I would rather put it 10 or 14, whatever you decide. I think it needs to go up.
Well maintenance, is that the one you're on?
Nope,
Repairs and
4250.
Repairs and maintenance.
4250, but not what?
Point
Zero.
zero.
That's what I wanted to know.
Thank you.
Because it was way higher than 5 every year.
I think 14 is probably the best.
12,
12.
based on.
12
Yeah.
is the number in between it.
Yep,
Okay,
12.
let's go with 12.
So you're now at a deficit again.
Now we're back at a deficit.
Getting them, Mark. Lost it.
You were the first one who's gotten money.
You're the first one all day, Mark, that we've given money to.
At the end of the day, it's still
$78,000.
bottom line at Mark's budgets.
You're now at 64,615.
6603, aren't we?
Does that include putting the 72 back, or to buy the?
Yes.
Now, I haven't done that yet because you guys haven't made that.
Okay,
I'm just want to work through this and then.
okay,
Yes.
very good.
Miscellaneous concrete's at 12. What?
I didn't say anything, I'm sorry. My nose was cold.
And 12 is no magic number, it's just, what,
Number you've been using.
like I said, what most of this miscellaneous concrete goes for is when we do these sewer jobs, when we're cutting out people's driveways and, driveway aprons and stuff like that, for if we do 2 or 3 or 4 blocks, that's what that goes for, putting that stuff back in.
Good.
So, and it's been fine. We've not come up short, we've spent it, but, consultant, 10,000. We could cut that back to 5.
No more mapping?
Can you cut it? Yeah.
No, they took the, I'm sorry. You guys took mapping out at the last committee meeting because DGR actually is doing that for us through
Okay.
another contract.
Okay,
So you want to cut consulting to what,
Cut
5,000?
that to 5. We're done with the highway project. We don't have any big projects.
okay.
Thank you.
Supply line. I guess he's got 20 in there.
He's at 17.6 or
That is as
17.55.
skinny as we're going on that. Brass has gone up almost double in the last 3 years. It's ridiculously high.
We got 4 months to go. and review
22, we spent
70,000.
31,000.
That's what I was just looking.
Quite honestly, I think council's considering bumping this line up
I
again
think
instead.
I think it's not reflective of what we've been doing.
I agree.
There again, same kind of scenario in sewer. We're probably not gonna bite off a big 6 blocks water main replacement next year because we've got to get these meters done. That's gonna be first and foremost next year.
And that's what most of this was for in the previous 3 years?
It's been, that one year we did,
Okay,
we did from Lamro all the way down to South County.
okay.
I mean, we've put in a lot of water main in the last couple years.
So we're just gonna kind of take next year off then, huh?
But most of that stuff came out of mainline improvements,
Yeah, he was treasurer to that.
the brass and.
So what do you want to do with that 20,000?
Do you want it up?
I would think it needs to be up.
Okay.
How much, Mark?
You know, that's our rack clamps and our fittings for
Well, hopefully when this year's.
saddles. I would think it'd have to be at least 25.
Or 30?
30?
27,
Getting pretty
25.
generous down there.
Well, but I mean, I'm being realistic, 31, 27, 1.
But we don't have any projects coming up.
But these wrap clamps are for like the brakes that we're
The
dealing
water
with.
breaks.
These are outside of the
Project's
project.
Mainline improvement line.
Yeah, no, this is for repairs of the,
Okay,
The fire service lines in between the curb stop and the main,
okay.
pickups like that.
I think we at least have to cover our trend,
Yeah.
or, you know, our average.
Or get close.
You know, get close to our.
Yeah.
average.
So where do you want to be, 27?
Until it proves us wrong, we have to bump it up.
I'd say you go to 30.
I think
You're at
30.
27
30?
and 31.
Mark, you got another.
I don't have any racers, so you gotta tell me.
If we're not gonna do, I mean, we did cut him back to 50,000 for mainline improvements, so, and in the years past, it's been a little more than that. So that, some of that stuff just came out of that, if we didn't spend all that, we got some of that in the past, we've used that, so.
memberships.
What are you moving it to?
30,000.
Okay, annual memberships are what they are, uniforms. Am I looking at office supplies?
Uniform is pretty easy.
Uniforms.
We're not gonna need any shop supplies or any office supplies, huh?
Shop supplies is what they split out between the five departments, is that right, Mark? There's
They
five
still
deals.
take turns buying.
They are splitting it, each time they buy something, it's getting split, those four.
Between
Four
water, sewer,
departments.
streets.
So our share is gonna be 0?
I don't know.
That's what we have.
No, it's all gets split out.
Shop supplies, we don't have anything but.
According to this, 2024 shop supplies is 0.
You
I think
spent,
this is another one of those where it's got that point 3.
Yep.
03, yep.
Yep.
0003. It says
You did
0.
before, but what they're saying is you didn't put any money into the 24 budget for it.
500.
So is it gonna be 1/5 of 1,500?
No,
No,
that's
that's how
what this
much their
department has
fifth
spent.
Okay,
So we got it, and you'll get another quarterly, are those, no, they're not quarterly.
No more, it's just split
So
up.
do we need a couple $1,000s in that?
For sure, 1,600.
Well, we still have 6 months, or.
4 months left to
4
go.
months to go.
But they've had activity, okay. Every time you are splitting it out. Okay.
Should we go 2,000? Even the
don't we
Christmas
pay
one.
1/5 of $6,000?
One-fourth.
1/4, that's 1,500.
That's where we're at now.
So where do you get the 6,000? Sorry.
2022 total budget was
Yeah, so in
$6,000.
2022, we were doing it completely different. They took quarters. So the first quarter, water paid for it, the second quarter, sewer paid for it, and it wasn't coming out fair to everyone because if the door broke in your quarter, you paid for the door. So they decided that everything that comes through on shop supplies will be split out, every payment by each department getting a fourth of it. So the 6,000 is a null and void number.
Okay. What number you want in there?
2,000?
Okay,
We're 2/3 of the year through and we spent almost $1,600. We gotta add some. Or we have to have something in that line,
How much?
2,000.
yeah, I don't think it should be 0.
2,000 is what Councilman Clunt is offering.
I concur.
Councilman Schuyler?
So, I'm gonna ask, everybody knows that, but I would say next year, bring a little more realistic budget to the retreat. I feel like we're sitting here doing your whole budget for you. True.
Can we shut the camera off for a minute?
Nope.
I'm at office supplies. We probably don't have much of that.
Just let that go.
You have nothing budgeted for next year for office supplies. Come to the finance office and steal a couple of pens, you'll be good. If you need a pad, just grab one. Yep, okay.
I'll hook you up, Mark.
The 426105 meters, that 6,000 can go away.
We have all the meters bought that we need now, don't
No,
we?
we have 70,000 for meters lower down in the budget. We have money for meters lower in the budget.
So get rid of the 6,000?
Yeah.
Super. Almost made up what we gave them.
That's right. All comes out in the wash. Did you want to put any on the office supplies or no?
V0269.
I know you're not.
What are these?
Tools, fees,
Yeah.
What are fees?
what are fees?
He's got some,
What is that?
Well, we spent 1,450 on fees this year so far.
yes, there is, his water and wastewater, he's got some association fees with water. We put it in fees, but it's, I think now he has it broke out to, memberships.
Memberships,
Annual memberships of
Annual
higher.
memberships.
okay. So that's included in the 3878?
Yep.
That's why we don't have anything here, okay, good.
Tools, 6,000.
Right on that one.
That seems like it's on track.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna need chlorine anymore?
Or is that in a different?
The next line under tools,
Yeah, we, you could just go by, we take it out of, supplies. We tried to break it out one year, but the GL code never got on Holly's, on her deal, so we haven't been breaking chlorine out.
that's just strictly supplies,
Yep.
Okay.
okay?
Fuel, we did those. His travel schools and conferences, he's got 1,500, he's got Ricky and Matt that have to go to school about twice this year, or in 2024 for certifications. Utilities are projected,
Yep,
state lab fees are things that he has to pay to get his sewer sampling done, and that's comes out about that every year. We are done with that, and well, he might discharge one more time this year, but 4,000 will be right pretty close. Mainline improvements, 50,000. And the plan is to do 2.5 blocks of commercial next year.
didn't we do some on Washington just recently too?
Adams.
We did Adams.
Adams, okay, thank you.
So those bills probably wouldn't have come out of this. It says only $1,600 spent. Adams Street really cost more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have Adams Street on there, and then we have that elevator
Yeah.
bill that's gonna be put on there.
Did Adams Street get square curb put on it?
Yes.
I thought we weren't gonna do square curb. Like something like a B4, 40 something?
It's not completely square, he hand formed it.
He put up forms, he didn't use a curb machine or anything like they've done in the past. So
Right.
He just he's got a trowel, and it's got that's the trowel he has.
Okay,
Metering equipment, 70,000. That's basically what that 70,000 is for, is when we did this metering system, the first time we did all residential. And we're going back, when we're doing these radios this time, to put everything on the census system, we're doing commercial also. So that $70,000 is for commercial meters.
We have to buy those still?
We have to order those as
Okay.
well, yes.
then do we sell them to the commercial people?
That was brought up in your water committee, and
If they're
you
over
guys
2 inch.
you guys kind of decided that if they had a working meter and the city went in to replace it, that the city was gonna cover the cost.
I agree.
That was the discussion we had in the last water and sewer committee meeting. So that's what that $70,000 is.
Brad, we have to get our ordinance to match. So when we have ordinance this week, that's got to be one of the priorities, And I'll make sure Mr. Jensen or Chandra and I will, we know that that
To
one. will-
modify that.
Yes.
That if the city decides to replace a working meter, the city shall pay for the new meter.
We'll let you guys work through that in committee and get that in the hay bales all
Well,
worked out.
I believe that, you already know how I
Yeah.
feel about that. You gotta get an attorney to come.
Gentlemen,
Next thing's computer software, and that's our census.
nope, before you go there, equipment, the line a couple above that, that's the line that you would make the purchase of.
Oh, correct, the backhoe.
So council,
Yep.
let's hear your
Oh,
thoughts.
to pay off the,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes,
That needs to be 72 then.
71.
71,218.
Yep.
Okay, do we have to be that permanent?
It's up to you.
if that's what the contract says, that's what I would do.
Is that exactly what the contract says, the buyout? Okay, there you have it.
I guess that's what I think we need to do if everybody is happy and content with the current loader.
If it's worth keeping.
Not causing us grief and stuff, I mean, I don't run it, so I don't know what kind of shape it's in.
He said it's in excellent shape, it's like a new one, so
Yeah.
we'd be remiss not buying it.
Your overall budget is now $7,603 in the negative.
7,000.
That's, I was keeping track too.
We're not done yet, though.
Yeah, there you go. The new axe.
Yeah, you had it on. 16,000 is your census payment. And then the rest of it is just payments.
What is census?
A brand name for meter readers.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
I have no idea.
Oh, it's spelled incorrectly.
Is it? Okay.
It starts with an S. Someday I'll fix that, Mark,
So-
sorry.
Mark, you're the only department that we've given money to today.
All right.
Are you guys at the same place I am? My math says that we added $90,218.
Oh, shit, I was-
Subtracted 11,000.
As long as you're at 7603.
Yeah, that's what I had
That's
too.
it.
That's
That's where-
what I had also.
How much cash on hand does Mark have right now?
In water,
$1 million, you will at the end of the year.
in sewer?
What's-
Both water and sewer, $1 million.
That's enterprise it. Now we can just start moving that money over to other.
You do. Water is
It is an
enterprise.
enterprise.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Well-
Yep, that includes that. Yep, I did throw that
Great.
money in there.
Are we at a break,
Yes,
gentlemen?
we are.
Yes.
We're actually over, but
20.
in the scheduled time.
2:30, we shall resume. We're gonna take a break until
CJ coming?
2:30.
Geez, we just got started.
So we just talked a little bit ago.
Okay, you got new information for me?
Well, no, it's what you were talking about when I first walked in about that meter for Golden Prairie Dam.
Yeah?
We are still live, just FYI.
All right, let me, hold on, I got it.
We haven't done
You
street.
guys haven't been on
Street is,
meters?
Streets and sanitation's live.
street is page 9.
This is all.
Well, he said that.
So the public is watching.
Everybody, they can't hear.
When you lean way back and everything,
Unless they change something? Yeah. You memorized it or what?
No, I didn't memorize
Well, we could tell Jeremy to speak louder.
Could do that.
Okay, so electric,
I think we're gonna leave this one alone.
yep.
18.5.
We,
Then why is he here?
just
Thank you,
because.
CJ.
Yep, thanks for coming.
CJ, you're excused, we're not touching it.
I've been telling you for 5 minutes, we
Yeah.
got
you
it.
guys are serious?
Yeah.
They're not touching
Weren't
it.
you sitting here and we
We
gutted
did,
that?
we did make a change. We did make a change.
What change?
We went from 10,000 to 18.5,
Whoa,
5,000
set back down.
in his utilities.
The utilities was
He's already at,
It's in your it's in your worksheet
in the
already.
worksheet
It's part of the number.
Okay, all right.
on there.
Hit the brakes.
There wasn't anything special.
Thanks for coming.
CJ,
Thank you.
thank you.
CJ.
well, now we're way ahead of schedule.
That's good.
Let's get her done.
Okay.
Called John Rehak and said Kurt's on it, it's already taken care
I've
of.
talked to him twice.
Okay, good.
3 times to
I
make
don't-
sure
I won't
we're in
even
the
call
right
him back.
spots.
Parks, page 13.
Just so everybody knows, earlier in the financial committee, we cut 400 and what?
What?
In electrical.
Oh,
we
In
cut-
your electrical committee, I wasn't
Oh, yeah,
here.
yeah,
like, that was like,
I got it right here.
it was quite a
Wasn't a
bit.
month ago. It was a
400,
week
over
ago.
400,000.
That one is,
494,000.
494? Yeah, that's why he got excused so fast.
That's right.
not touching it.
Is Marty on his way then?
Pardon me, Jody?
I don't know.
That's why we don't
He'll
want
be
it.
here when you
Yeah,
schedule
no,
him.
we got it.
What page are we on now, please?
13.
13.
13?
We gotta-
But
we gotta wait for
200,000 of
supervisor
that
to
was a
Next
contingency
year, can we
outlay.
have these in order?
Troy.
I like the way they are.
I think I'm gonna have coffee.
He's got some really short.
Court?
Well,
What time is it?
Kelly's over in the next office. 212
2:30.
streets.
You wanna do Kelly first?
Well, I mean, he was there.
I'm grabbing.
Going to streets,
So we're gonna go to page 9,
What?
streets.
streets.
Oh.
We're so close. We're so close.
Do we get paid the same if we get done early?
I believe so. I don't think we're getting paid by the hour.
I think it's just a normal meeting rate today. So
Well,
we're getting underpaid.
motion to adjourn.
You're switching to Coke?
I tried that before noon, Brad.
Because if we adjourn, then we have to come back into session.
I
2
usually
meetings.
drink like 2 or 3
And
pounds.
you were all against it, weren't you?
Just
Was
2
it?
or 3 a day.
Well, I used to drink way more.
I didn't.
When I did windshields in Sioux Falls,
I'd be
Thank
I'd
you.
be sweating sugar if I drank
Oh.
2 or 3 Mountain Dews a day.
I actually, I drink my last month
Kelly
of the
here?
day during the 10 o'clock news if I'm home and go right to bed. I don't. It doesn't do anything for me. It's like beer. If I could find an NA beer that tastes like Bud Light.
Well, I can drink Bud Light before I go, I can drink beer before I go to bed, but not Coke or Mountain
We
Dew.
just couldn't.
We are, mics are on, gentlemen.
Did you shower?
Yes.
Oh, good.
All right, what department are we doing?
Street,
Page
Street
9.
Department.
let's do sanitation first.
What page?
Page
22.
23.
What was it that you were gonna tell me, Kelly? What are you doing first with your budget?
Giving Brandy a raise? That's what I was told.
That's what Kurt said. He came in here and said, I'm giving Brandy a raise, and I said, get out.
So Kelly thought it would get
Try
him
it.
out of here.
No.
Like, okay, we'll try it.
All right, gentlemen.
There is nothing to cut out of sanitation,
I will agree with you.
or you will not.
Sounds
It
good.
will deficit spend.
Okay. Page 9.
Nope.
Although you do have to be okay with spending cash in order to make it balance.
We have to spend $40,139.
Which is pretty much what you'll have for cash. So you'll use all of your cash that you
gain from this year to balance out next year's budget.
In sanitation? Okay.
The plan is to put in a grant and get some equipment for that building. Hopefully, we can get a truck to pull that trailer. But that won't happen until March if we get it. So that's only gonna get us, we'll still have 3 months of that. But that'll help out.
The one thing that has happened is now we know all the true revenues of sanitation. We know all of the accounts in the city of Winter. And now we know all the expenses that go into operating a sanitation enterprise. There's nothing unknown about this enterprise by what we've done. We understand it, I think, completely. I think Travis, Troy, Kelly know this thing pretty intimately. We know every penny now. We had a lot of unknowns. We were speculating. We came close, but now we know.
I remind myself. I
like
Sorry,
that.
I was too far away. I forgot what they said. Oh, somebody's blowing it up now. Blew my mind. I remind myself that we're saving the streets. And I have to look at it that way because financially, it's not really doing what we hoped it would at this point.
It's about 55 off of what we were projecting.
Which, in the scheme of things, is not bad, because from previous council, previous garbage was running about 30 to 35 short. So, I mean, it's,
What about, I thought you had mentioned, and maybe I'm not on this committee, about needing to dig a hole next summer. at the
I'm
dump.
sorry, I can't hear you, Austin.
I thought we had needed the budget to dig another hole, bury pit at the dump next summer, but I don't see it in here.
It's in the budget this year.
It's in the budget this year? Oh, it's for this year, okay. All right. I just remember you mentioning it one time. I didn't know it was this year.
I did go out to went out with somebody that was going to the dump. The thing is filling up fast.
very fast.
Yeah.
I can't believe how fast that is filled.
The other thing about sanitation, the other thing that, when we redid this contract, we did not raise our garbage prices 1 cent. They stayed exactly the same. And it was, if we would have stayed on track with the way we were doing things, we were guaranteed $5 an account. That was almost a guarantee. So this saved the citizens of Winter a $5 increase.
Fair point, because we were assured that the rates were gonna go up, and with the other bid we got, it was substantial. Anyway, sometimes I forget that sanitation is the landfill out there too, like
It's
you're
the
mentioning.
combination.
And I just wanna take this time to say, Kelly, Troy, man, that grass pit was a great idea.
Whose
That really
idea was that?
That was a great idea, guys, just wanna tell you that.
I like it.
That was
I
Mr.
like it.
Clay's idea, was it
I
not?
go dump
Oh,
grass anytime
I
without the
forgot.
dump being open.
Jeremy
I
Clay.
forgot.
So if we moved a full-time employee to streets, do we have enough people to run the recycling and the,
Same as your water sewer. When you are hired in sanitation or streets, you work for both. So it is just simply splitting up the best, the most, how did you word
It's
it?
the best way to make personal services work for both departments.
Correct.
so that it looks like we don't have as many people employed at the sanitation department?
Right, so streets is paying for those extra ones because that was the most ecological way to go. I think that was the reason.
And truly,
Water and sewer.
the way sanitation is kind of working out, Travis is the only guy that is out there all the time.
So,
we-
yeah, the foreman's wage is coming out of there and 3 part-time individuals is coming out of sanitation. I actually wanted to point that out to you guys. One of the pieces of paper that were confusing to you all.
3 part-time, I didn't see that.
It's this colored one that's a little awkward, and I have writing on the side. You had asked, Mr. Clay had asked if I would give a comparison of what 2023 budget personal services was to 2024. There are very few departments that are different. The two that are the main difference are streets and sanitation, and that's because we moved the full-time person over to streets and then took out a part-time person from streets, deleted that position altogether. So, he still has one part-time person in streets, 3 part-time people in sanitation, and then the rest, I believe there's now 6. I don't wanna be quoted on that, so hold on.
It's on the first, yeah, we got that page.
6 full-time, so 7 between the 2 departments, 7 full-time, and then, public works director, 1/5 is out of both of those as well, so 2/5 public works director. So you're not, you lost 1 part-time person, and that's, I believe that, if I remember correctly, that was added back in 2020 when the city was considering doing their own concrete and potentially hiring just a part-time seasonal person to do concrete. We've never hired that person, so at the time when you guys spoke with the HR director, that was kind of, take that person out, we're not using them. Still have the ability to hire a part-time person. But
So if I understood that, they're still gonna work in sanitation, but their salary's gonna come from streets?
Yep, same as technically your foreman works both places too, streets and sanitation.
How much land do we have left up at the Berry Pit? Approximately, are we running out of land?
I can't tell you acres. We have enough to go. The plan is, where the current berry pit is, we're gonna go south and dig a pit of similar size to that,
Okay.
to the last one.
You've heard me say it before, check in the Mount Trashmore. Oh, you think I'm joking? They
No,
do
you're
it.
not. Yeah.
They, you know what I'm talking about? They go
I
up,
I know, I just laughed because you say it.
but we're running out of real estate, we're gonna have to maybe consider going up.
How, where you get the dirt?
Do not know. You go down, go up, haul it in, whatever.
Anything else on sanitation?
Nope. Well, I'm sorry.
Streets.
There's a lot of blue on the top ones.
Same deal.
That was just my explanation.
Okay.
So what page we on now?
Street.
9.
Number 9.
We only have $2,700.
Ignore the question mark, that wasn't meant to be there. That's a statement.
You should ask or something. Streets. Is there anything you want to talk about in personal services?
Nope, I already explained.
Yep. Insurance, legals and advertisements, 300. Rentals, we did put $20,000 in there for rental equipment. And that was, so we didn't know how this streets budget was gonna pan out this year. We kinda have to plan our projects according to how much money we have. We've talked about that in sewer and water a little bit. His department being even more so. And if we were gonna have to make substantial cuts and we were gonna get rid of like mill and overlay or something like that, then we were gonna switch gears and we were probably gonna do a much larger crack sealing project this year and some more chip seal. So that $20,000 that we put in there is for crack sealing equipment, for rental crack sealing equipment. And we have, plenty of streets that need to have that process done. I think we spent right around that. We spent about $50,000 total on rental equipment and the product to do the crack sealing this year. So
Didn't we originally put that rental line in there for renting trucks when we parked the dump truck?
Yes.
And we threw a rental line in there?
we did. We had it at 5,000 the last couple of years for snow removal.
But we didn't get it out of there quick enough, and now you absorb it for something else. Okay.
Thank you.
On to the next one.
Say that a little louder in the microphone. Say that a little louder into the
Thank you,
microphone.
Mr. Clay.
repairs and,
His repairs and maintenance line is all way over. And so in the streets department, I don't know if everyone knows this, but his repair and maintenance line goes up. We had we had the snow blower, $8,000 in the snow blower this year. We had to do a complete gear in his transmission and his maintainer. So we had some repair issues that we have not normally run into. So if you look at the 42,000, we're way over the 30,000, but we ran into some pretty hefty bills after the snows this last winter.
What is the maintainer? Transmission went out. What?
Transmission.
Who's the operator of that piece of equipment?
Mr. Kelly Duffy.
All right, I was just curious.
do you think that line is low? Not that I want to, just based on the last 2 years, we had 54,000 and so far this year, 42.
37 and 22, or no, sorry, 54.
54.
I guess in 21 it was 11,3.
Did we have something big happen in 22 too, last year?
The fence,
What?
the fence,
The fence was
Oh, we took the
37,000.
fence out of that?
yep.
Oh, 50.
54.
What
Yep.
fence?
That was the insurance claim on the damage from our theft.
When they stole that dump truck. They
So insurance.
They
yeah,
drove
we
through
only
our
pay
back
for a
fence.
portion.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that money came back and went back into the
Yeah, but they would
general,
only
or-
pay for the portion that the truck went through.
Oh, but we did the whole thing.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe that was 25,000 itself for the
Sounds
fence,
right.
is that correct?
Sounds
I think insurance gave us 6,000.
25 out of the 54 that we spent, yeah.
Yeah. So that
I think 30,000 is
Even,
fine.
even
We
without
just-
that, we still spent 26,000 or 27.
Yeah.
If you think 30 is good, I guess we'll go 30.
We'll leave it.
Uh,
I think if it goes
Managed IT.
over the 30, it's unforeseen. You can't plan for stuff.
Correct. Okay.
Managed IT is what it is. HR testing, same thing. Tire repairs, 5,000. And here again, a lot of this stuff, this is just gonna be a breakdown of repairs and maintenance, so it's just itemized out. So what you're seeing in there is a number that we've, consultants.
Do you
5,000.
ever use a consultant though, in streets?
Yeah, actually, we have.
This year you have?
That drainage ditch over there on the backside of the Lewis Apartments, they staked that all out and,
That would have been sewer though, or
We
storm
did the
sewer.
sidewalk too at front of the post office.
Okay,
That didn't
okay.
interfere.
So they just
plan
got
on
billed
using
somewhere
them?
else?
Yeah, so the one for the.
Pardon me?
It just got billed
sewer.
somewhere else then, because
Yeah.
it's, okay.
Do you plan on using a consultant in 24, or did you just carry that money through? Kelly, since it's your budget, I'm asking you.
Kelly.
Well, depends on if we're gonna need them on that ditch project or running up that, we gotta put that drain in. That storm drain.
Like, sounds like a week, no.
That storm sewer pays for that though, out of sewer department,
could.
not out of streets.
There's 5 we can save.
let's just take the consultant out and call it a day.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you.
That's
I mean, we're gonna give you like another $2,500, so let's just call it a day.
You add that to Christmas bonuses.
That's kind of fun.
Give the councilmen their percentage increase and everybody's happy. Supplies, 40,000.
So are we taking that out, Troy?
Yeah.
Were-
Yes, you can
Were you
take that
being
out.
serious?
Take it out, we're good. His supply line is, it's been running over, but we went with 40. Uniforms is what it is, shop supplies. Shop supplies could probably be, you only got 1,500 in for there, you've already spent 3,300 this year.
Right.
Put the 5 back in.
How about 2,000 in?
Yeah, that'll work.
We're at?
Shop supplies.
Shop supplies going to
supplies.
In the street
3,500?
department, what kinds of things do you call shop supplies?
If we buy anything miscellaneous, like a,
Shop towels.
shop vac or some, wheelbarrow, shovels, rakes,
Oh,
Things-
okay,
things like that.
supplies that are stored at the shop evidently. or
Donuts,
something. Okay.
coffee.
So
2,000?
3,500.
3,500 you want?
Yeah,
Oh,
adding
yeah,
2,000 to it.
500. I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Can't have too much budgeted for shop supplies.
We calculated out the fuel, I think he's gonna be good there.
No cold mix or miscellaneous concrete?
Yeah.
That's broke out by points later on down.
Yeah, we gotta keep going down. AC mix is down to 15,000.
Thank you, okay.
We've cut some of those. Chip seal, 50,000. And we have some streets that need to be chip sealed this next year. We have 3,
Is it 3 years you chip seal them or 2?
yep, 3 years, and then we chip seal
On the
them.
3rd.
Yep, so we'll crack seal them and then this year and chip seal them next year. Miscellaneous concrete,
Keep that at 50?
yeah, that'll get spent easily. We did not budget any crushing concrete. We did not. We've taken the snow supplies and we've taken that out. Keep track of it. Travel, schools and conferences, get Kelly out to learn about asphalt. His utilities that's where they're trending. And then comes the big one,
Is that what
capital
you
improvements.
want to keep that at 600? Put it out for bid
That
again?
is not up to me, that is up to you.
Might, 800 would be nice, but.
You want 800?
Right now, you're at a surplus, you're $103 to the
Okay.
good on the overall budget.
Yeah, it's 600.
Kimmel, what are you doing to me? You take 5,000 that we got from his consultant, that takes it to 2103. And then we give 2,000 back to his supply lines, and that's $103 to the good. Chandra? Okay.
I don't wanna be in.
She's agreeing with me. 2397 I had going in.
So
Negative
so these-
2397.
Correct, yes.
5,000 takes us to 2103 positive.
So.
Oh, wait, no,
So you
no.
took out 5,000.
Yeah,
Negative 7,000.
2603. So
Yep.
now Campbell, $603. You can have $500
What
more
was
from
that?
Mill and Grind. Campbell's right.
So, question. Hey Marty, come on in. Is the pool in or out at this point in time?
Still
In.
in.
Is-
half, approximately half of
48,000
it.
is in, not
The,
100.
the painting's in, not the.
That's
Painting of
okay.
the pool, but not the
All right.
equipment.
Correct.
So
Yes.
the painting of the pool is in. And we're still to the good.
I got showing they drop 50,000 to 600. Put that over to.
Oh, sure, you both get your streets in front of your houses, and then you're quick to cut.
Oh, yeah, I
Oh,
see.
did you get yours in?
Yes, you
Yeah,
did.
I did.
Yeah, no, they wanna cut.
No. So, I've been picking up your hints, and I'm not willing to give on that. I'm not. I just want to know where we're at on the streets, where we're at on the pool. We can get the pool painted right now. We can keep our other funding. We can keep $600,000 in the streets, and as of now, we're balanced our budget without spending any cash on hand, no deficit spending. Would
No.
you concur? No.
Because you're gonna spend cash in order to balance the sanitation fund. Cause they're budgeted to spend 40,000 more than their revenue, so you know you're gonna spend cash there. So there's that. The other thing to consider is, yep, overall budget would be balanced, but then everything that every one of those funds makes extra will go into the general fund because that's where your big deficit is. So all of electric's extra, all of water's extra, all of,
No,
it would have
electric,
to go up to certain supplement.
electric's an enterprise, it stays in that fund.
Right.
But you're gonna
that's
have
how
to
you
transfer
you
to the
transfer
general.
balance.
The general
Four
will,
people talking at once.
the general will still have a negative balance at the end of today, and we'll still have to
Oh.
transfer funds in.
Well, yeah,
Quite
because we're
honestly,
looking
you
at
don't
balance
have-
and then you make your transfers.
Right.
You'll have to transfer from every fund that makes money, you will have to transfer it in to make the general balance. Every penny
And we
that
do
they
that
make-
every year anyway,
Not
right?
every penny that they make, no. So,
You'll-
you gotta look at it from two different directions. You do have to look at the total budget overall, but are you willing, when you make that balanced budget, are you willing to make it so that every penny made out of every enterprise fund then balances out and supplements your general fund?
Potato, isn't it potato? It is.
We're not-
Either we take cash out of our cash on hand and put it in, or we take our money that we make that, to me, it's potato,
Right.
potato.
So, and that's,
Still
that's
balanced.
the question, yep, it's balanced, but
Okay,
so let's say, you know that there's $1 million in electric that they're gonna make this year, so 100% of that will go up to the general fund. You know that, you cannot use that $3,300 out of perpetual care because that has to stay in perpetual care, you can't have that. 283 out of airport's more of a specialty fund, you actually can't have that $283 either, which I'm sure is not gonna bring things. You will have to use cash to make your general fund balance if you were to leave. the
but our budget's still balanced.
But we're using our revenues and not our cash,
Correct. It's just.
is what you wanna do. is
use-
Use your
That's what you wanna
revenues.
do.
The classic example is 911. You have a 500,000 deficit. We're gonna use the revenues from the corrections department to balance that out, but we're not using unappropriated cash. That is the goal, as you're
We
saying.
made it through the year without using your savings account.
Correct.
That's what you want.
Now, an accountant may see it a touch different, but you're bean counters, so that's, you look at it different anyway, so, all right.
I take pride in that name, so it's fine.
And that's fine, and you should look at things different.
So a year ago, it was critically important that we diamond ground Main Street.
Yeah, good point.
We didn't do it last year,
This year.
and now we're not doing it this year. And we don't have anything budgeted to do it next year.
It was,
So how important was it to do the diamond grind on Main Street?
it was in the budget.
We did not, we had asked to get it in, there was a diamond grind being done in the area, and we spoke to those people multiple times. They did not have time to do it. This summer was the first time that we had tried to get diamond grind done. So we had $60,000 in there to do that. It didn't happen. We still don't know, there's a company they're going to bid out another project. We don't know who the company that's gonna get that bid, but we're gonna go through the same process. We're gonna try and get that company to come over and do our Main Street. And that would have to come out of that $600,000.
So you're wanting to include that in mill and overlay. My reason for asking the question was, I think we need to cut back on mill and overlay if it's important to diamond grind Main Street.
I
So-
think that's what
They're
Troy
gonna-
just said he
What
will
Troy
do.
just
said.
telling
If they
you.
won't come do Main Street, we're gonna do more blocks of mill and overlay. If they will come do Main Street, we're gonna
It's
do
just-
less blocks.
It's just who
That's
I
the way
can
I
get to come and
understand
do what. But I'm not gonna pay $250,000 to have, and pay $100,000 in mobilization to have them come
That's
and do 4 blocks of Main Street. That'd be ridiculous.
Yep.
So it's just,
Timing issue.
yeah.
If they're here and they'll do
If
it.
it happens, it
time
happens. If it
We got
doesn't,
the
it
budget
doesn't.
money to do it, we can do it, go forward with it.
Yep.
And do less mill and grind. A little bit. Sounds like a plan. You got her together.
And where do you plan on putting in the new curb and gutter?
We don't have a plan yet.
Will the Washington Street Water Project include some of that, or is that already,
No, that's all behind the curb.
that's up, and that's a good curb?
Yep.
Okay. Next street committee, we might just go for a drive, jump in your pickup, take the council and show them some of the curb and gutter that,
We have some curb up there on Coolidge. There's like 3 short streets up there. That curb is tipped way back and
Right.
the streets are, we've got issues up there with curb and gutter.
Speaking of curb, that reminds me, I don't know what happened to it, but the curb in front of my office has a broken chunk out of there. Is that a state deal or is that the city? We gotta do the maintenance on that?
We have to do the maintenance on that.
Okay, it's still broken, remember?
We probably hit it with one. of
Kelly
those.
probably hit it with the
No, I don't
loader
know what
moving snow.
and threw the transmission
Oh,
out.
the transmission out.
Marty.
Oh,
Marty,
Marty.
Don't throw him over the bus.
No.
I knew I'd get blamed for that.
I remember when that happened, cause I was like, did you do that?
Now
curb?"
they're
And
owning
then
up to it, Jeremy.
Somebody was just pushing snow off and a chunk just came
Yeah,
off.
the maintainer
We
did
didn't
it, and then the Bobcat
We
just
didn't even hit
lifted
it.
it.
It just
And
busted
I
out.
threw my back out lifting it into the pickup.
I think it just heaved.
All right,
If I did it with his four-wheeler. Yeah, I thought Mr. Clay and his four-wheeler.
He got the sign.
I like it, I like it.
yes, I did get
Yes,
this.
yes, you did get the sign.
Everything else in there is payments and loan payments and equipment payments.
I like to look at that final payment, that's always good to see. Final payment in yellow.
What do we have left? Parks, cemetery, that's it?
that's it, sir.
Thank you, Kelly.
As long as the park cemetery budgets are good, we don't have to add money to them.
Are you explaining to all of the departments in general fund that you have cut contingency to 0? So if you go over your budget, period, it's a supplemental budget, which is a first reading, second reading, 20 days publication, and we will not write the check until that 20 days publication is done.
It's all referable by the public.
It's
Our
just-
checkbook is not your checkbook anymore.
That's conversation, those conversations should be had in the committee meetings.
Yep.
Just fact, but
Yeah, they cut it out. There is no
Yeah,
contingency next
we
year.
need it, that just needs to be explained in committee meeting.
It's just a longer process, still available.
I'm saying, I said this once earlier, but as long as parks and cemetery check out, I think we'll probably be all right, won't we?
I agree.
$603.
Thank you, Kelly.
See ya, thanks.
Thank you, Kelly.
See you, Kelly.
Just tell them that you give, Marty,
Oh, thanks.
just tell council that you're gonna give Brandy a raise. You'll be out of here. Brandy.
Randy?
Yeah.
Brandy's getting lots of raises.
Yeah, what the heck? She's transferring department after department.
Will you also plug these changes in so that I can get a total overall to everyone?
Mm-hmm.
You can take notes and if there's any changes.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm starting from, where, $603?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
In the black or red?
black, we're in the good right now.
We have cut 625, 655 total this week.
This week or today?
This week, today, 445.
603 positive, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I got 2 9s and 2 10s.
13 we're on.
I got cemetery out first.
You wanna do cemetery first?
Okay.
I had parks.
Page 11.
Page 11.
Well, that's right behind it. Shanner got them in order. That.
So Look, right away off the get-go in cemetery, I would give you the $5,000 for rentals.
For rentals?
Yep.
Yeah.
We've purchased some equipment just recently that took care of our rental issues for next year.
So strike that.
Good.
Supplies, 20,000. He spent 14, 21, he spent 25 and 22, so we split the difference and went 20.
Question, repairs and maintenance, we have 0.
That seems low.
Well, you want 5,000 in that, do you?
For what?
Repairs and maintenance has nothing in that line.
And you're not spending much, it's only,
Yeah, it's mostly just tire repairs, is what it usually is we bring them up to WW Tire and have them fix their tires, but
You've given this council 5,000 back
Yeah, I
in
don't-
one. I think you should fund that line, whatever you need.
Couple
It's
thousand.
been at 3,000 every year before.
I think a couple $1,000.
yeah, 2,000?
2,000?
3,000's plenty.
3,000?
Three's plenty.
What'd you say, 3,000?
3.
3, okay. Not here.
We didn't break out all his, so that $20,000 is, what you see is all that stuff. Annual uniform, shot supplies, office supplies, weed, fertilizer, flowers, dirt, mower parts, fuel, except for fuel. That's all comes out of that $20,000. His fuel looks low. I try and figure his total fuel budget for the parks and cemetery, and then I came up with the acreage on what it takes him to mow the cemetery, and that's where the $3,000 came from. So in the parks, his fuel bill's like $15,000. His utilities are what they are. The only, we got $10,000 in there, and the plan is to use our recycle in the parks, in the cemeteries, and put recycle down and then do a double chip seal on it, so we were planning on eventually getting all the roadways and the cut across and everything done in the cemetery, so.
You were or you are?
There's
We want to do that.
this year
That's still
still.
the plan.
Yes, we have 10,000 this year, and we're gonna try and get a certain amount done yet this year, and then we'd like to do another 10,000 next year.
Okay.
And finish that project.
Perfect.
But I think that would help cosmetically make the cemetery look much nicer.
Yep.
Without putting down, I got a price to do them in asphalt, just when this company came and did asphalt, we went out and measured it up, and it was gonna cost us like $90,000 to do a 2-inch layer hot mix.
So, I don't know, if you're just wanting a trial run between 9th and 10th Street, that alley there, if you need a practice there, you can lay some down and put a chip seal on, see if it'll hold on a hill,
Yeah, we'll get right on that.
just for practice.
So, Troy, I just got one question. It's pertains to this, but I don't know how many years ago we bought the paver.
That Lee Boy
And
paver?
part of that conversation was for the cemetery roads.
Hmm.
Is that thing just a piece of junk we shouldn't have bought, or we just
We just can't get mixed.
can't get mixed? Okay, I didn't know why. I just was
Yeah,
curious.
I mean, if we could
It
get
just-
commercial asphalt to open up,
Mhm.
we'd go out there and lay down hot
Okay.
mix all
You
day
used it in
long.
front of DB's, right? Isn't that what you,
No, that was a grind.
oh, we ground that with
We
it.
ground that up.
We didn't lay
We
that
didn't
asphalt?
ground it with the Lee Boy.
We've
but-
done some.
We
with that
ground it,
paper.
but that other company laid it.
Right.
I thought we laid.
I was just curious.
We've done some little areas with that paver. We did not get it out last year, and we have not had it out this year yet. If we do get it out this year, I still plan on doing it. But I think Kelly and I have had some discussions about like these alleyways off of Fifth and Fourth, the sloped ones that every time it rains,
Oh, yeah, nice.
all that gravel washes down on the street in the parking areas. We want to pave those up to the top of the hill, so we can keep that gravel up in those.
Yep, good idea.
Not Ninth Street?
Good
Ninth
idea.
and
Yeah,
tenth.
9th, 10th, ooh, that's steep. Ooh, gravel.
You're lucky you even got an alley. I don't even get one.
That's what the,
You got a street this year.
getting deep. And we'd probably give you the $5,000 for equipment too. We got everything.
We got
mowers. We got the sod cutter bought, we got all that stuff bought.
Okay,
Cut it?
thank you.
We'll
Yep,
take it,
cut
yeah.
That cuts 7,000, right?
Correct.
so,
The $3,000 for computer software is the stuff that Randy has on her computer for the cemetery
Very
records and all that. Forget what it's called.
So keep that 3,000 on there though, right?
That's gotta stay on there,
Yep.
yes.
Thank you.
7603, correct?
Yes, sir.
Parks,
Page 9, is that correct?
13.
13, going the other direction.
Find it, Brad?
Well, I have two of them.
Yeah.
Take the first one.
Do you have two of them as well? This 13 looks
Not
like
that
this, and this 13 looks
It's
like
that
that.
one.
Take the long
It's
one.
the big one.
The expense one. The other 13 was probably a revenue.
Yep. You got cross-pollinated somehow.
I did, yep,
so,
trying to keep them all in order.
personal services are what they are. Insurance, legals and advertisements, we do a lot of advertisements out of the parks, pool, our rentals, nothing. Repairs and maintenance, 5,000. That's basically mower tires, and we will spend that this year. Managed IT is what it is. HR testing is what it is. Supplies, she's got $39,000 highlighted, and I do not know why she's got that highlighted.
we got 35.
She made a note down here that said added
Fix the
4,000 per
bulbs at
Troy.
Leahy Bowl.
Oh,
Do you see your note down at the bottom? That she had typed
4261.
Bottom left corner?
It's gonna be small on that paper.
Is there two 13s?
No, bottom left corner.
Oh,
Right, Troy, like this one with the,
oh, okay, so that's,
4261.
we had talked about, budgeting for LED lights. We had a guy come to Winter, give us a price. It was either 145 or 165 for LEDs to do the whole Leahy Bowl, all the lights. I called up, got a couple other prices. Everybody's kind of right in that area, so that's a big project for parks. We took one of our spare bulbs, and I researched it on the internet, and we could buy those bulbs for like $45 a piece. So we can do all new bulbs up at Leahy Bowl, and then I also put in the rental for a lift to get up there and do it, and we can do it for about $4,000.
Wow.
Do you think I'll get us a couple years, 2-3 years maybe?
Easy get us 2 years. Yep.
I-
well, what would you decide, these are 8 or more?
It's the same light bulb, just
I
all new
still haven't
ones.
got an answer back from Chandra as to when we last purchased light bulbs.
It was 2016.
Brad, that was in 2016.
It was at least-
2016.
These are not LEDs, they're just normal light bulbs.
They're just 1,500 watt
And then
sodium.
High
something
sodium
bulbs.
metal.
Metal halide.
they'll buy us
light
some
bulbs,
time.
Yep.
yes.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, good.
So if he can get them for $45, that's way better than what Chamberlain did. Chamberlain hired Muth Electric to come out and install theirs. They have the same towers that we do. But if we have a man that's willing to get up on something to put them in, so be it. But I think when you do that,
Marty said he'd do it.
I did.
okay, I think when you do that, you should consider, when we have that piece of equipment here, we should think about our guy taking a grinder up there and taking what are actually walkways for when they used to climb the poles and put the lights in, the walkways are up there. We should take those off when we're putting these new bulbs in.
That would not be the, I totally get what you're talking about, kill two
Yep.
birds with one stone, but
Yep.
the lift that we would do this with is not made to be lower in a heavy walk
Okay,
or
very
something.
good,
Yeah.
very good.
We need a crane to do that.
Okay,
So so that's 3,900 is gonna include that, the rental and the bulbs. And I'm guessing that's a goal, we wanna do
the
that.
39,000,
Yes.
Yep.
And then, that includes all your 4261 points all the way down to
.18.
It,
.18. So your next deal on there is your fuel, and that's where you see your high increase in fuel. $14,880 is what I came up as projected for fuel for the parks. Travel, school, and conferences, we like to leave that in there and get these guys to some training on
Anything.
Growing grass.
spraying. Spraying is a big one. Weed control. Utilities, 33,000, that's pretty much is what it is. City Park, we had 5,000 in there, and that's to fix the roof on the gazebo.
Probably, yeah.
I think
That's what we
The
decided.
shingles on the city park, on that gazebo are shot. They're blowing off with the wind every year. They need to be redone. That gazebo just needs a little work on it all
It's
around.
intention.
and do you intend on keeping them shingles?
I haven't fully decided yet.
Okay.
Either that or tinted.
Let's not do the tin like is on the dugouts with the ribs in it.
No.
If we're gonna do tin, let's get the kind that look like shingles.
Oh, okay.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
Well, I understand they're expensive, but they'll last incrementally longer
Can
than
you
what
put
you're.
them on there? They're metal, though, right? They're-
Yes,
but-
they're-
Yeah,
But.
but there's a cap.
But, yeah, but they'll go, is the gazebo in a circle, like the
Yes.
grain bin is what I'm trying to
8
ask?
sides usually.
So
But
it's like 8 pieces of pie.
will those work in a,
I bet you they make some.
you
I
think
mean,
they still do, okay. That was what I was trying to
The
spit out. was
the
that.
metal shingles?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you just cut them to fit, yeah.
No, but there'll be a
Ridge
cap
cap.
goes up
There's a
each
cap
ridge,
goes up every rib.
and
That's
then
correct.
the top he's worried about, but they'll make something that,
Yep.
And Bailey's Field project, is that done then?
No.
No. Okay.
I just did the math real quick on your, supply line. You still, there's about $12,000 unspent yet this year.
yeah,
So
we
just- if
we
you
haven't
Bought
bought some,
small fertilizer or any of that
Okay.
stuff yet.
Yeah, I just,
some fence work.
And then when we come in at the end of the year, we'll put new blades on mowers and new pulleys and new belts. And
okay,
anything that needs to be repaired on mowers, we'll take that all out of there, be done before the end of the year.
okay.
Weed eaters.
Yeah.
Equipment, 60,000. That's for that Ventrek with the mowing deck on the back and the groomer on the back or the front, whatever, however.
So the mowing deck is on the back, not on the front on this?
Mowing deck's on the front, the groomer's on the
Yeah,
back.
there's two ball field attachments. There's a renovator on the front, the level stuff, and then the groomer and stuff on the back.
Is this the same machine we have, or?
No.
Bigger, different?
Same machine, just comes with.
Different
track.
attachments.
And the trade-off on that.
Different model.
We had a discussion about that in the committee meeting, so I think you were on.
Yep, I got
The trade-off on that was we we'll surplus a couple of mowers, and then we'll give you a limited number of parks kids that we'll hire in the future.
We lowered the
$10,000.
parks budget in salaries by $10,000, and we're gonna surplus 2 mowers that we're not gonna replace, except with this Ventrek.
This
That's what-
this machine will
the
do
plan was.
Leahy Bowl, McDonald's Park, Ball Field, and then the whole Bailey complex. One person, one machine.
When we bought that first Ventrac, everybody wanted it, and I said I fully support it if we kept that ditch done. I saw Trevor out there working on it.
Yesterday.
Looked like he got stuck, but I think he got it shaped up pretty darn good, didn't he? Is there still some there? I didn't look.
There's still some in the bottom. It's
It's been,
standing water.
it doesn't drain, it doesn't drain, so there's standing water in there year round.
Yeah, that wasn't
Engineers,
our deal.
water runs downhill, and by God, we got it running uphill.
And I watched Donnie one day mowing
This was the.
it was fairly steep side hill, just a good machine, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're just that good. We
They're
like them.
safe.
Backside
We
of
put a summer help kit on it the last half of the summer,
Got along fine with
picked a good one, and yeah, he's,
it. Is it a bagger too?
No,
It is not.
but if we get a finished deck, what they call a finished deck with a roller on it, it's got a side discharge, multi-blades.
It'll
You can
chop
mow-
up fine enough to.
Yeah, you can mow Leahy Bowl in a half.
That's what I'm wondering. You can mow Leahy Bowl.
In a
Don't
half
we
hour.
normally, do we normally bag Leahy Bowl?
Yeah,
We do now.
you
But
won't
with
have
this,
it.
you don't think we'll have to. You think
you'd
we
have to
can
mow it probably
more
3
often?
times out of, and then
But
compared
it
to 2 of
takes-
the other, but,
A half hour, you were saying, to mow Leahy Bowl.
I don't know, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I mean, now it takes one guy 4 or 5 running and dumping.
So you're still saving at least a couple hours a week, and you don't have to bag it and then go haul
And
the
you don't have
grass
to haul
off.
it away.
Yeah, that's a day for 2 guys to haul grass
Yeah.
off.
So Marty, what do you do with the old field groomer? If this one's gonna be up there and out there, what do
Hold
you,
on to it for now. It's a handy little machine for,
is it possible we leave this one up here, keep the hours down on it?
Sure.
Put the old one over
Sure.
at the softball fields?
build a shed over there.
Still gonna do the same process where, like, we'll get the ball fields ready for the first game,
Yep,
but we've made that machine available for people to use to go run over the field or whatever, if they wanna go,
Between the
Between-
tournaments and stuff.
so that machine, that littler one with the drags on it can be made available to the, different parks.
What's the availability of this bin track? No problem. Be here in spring.
Should be. I haven't called or anything on it, but last time I talked to a guy, ordered that aerator, wasn't a problem.
It's got duals all the way around on it, 2 or 3 tires.
2, we could get it both ways.
You can get it, you could get it with 3 tires?
No, you could get it,
Duals
like
or
the
no.
ball field one, you wouldn't want the duals on. You want a little more nimble and,
what are you missing?
you see what I'm saying? But we can get a set of duals for it when it comes fall time to start doing,
We'd order it with the duals on it, and
then
just
you
take,
just
just
take
take
them
one,
off
and
during the
take them
summertime.
off.
you know. But like mowing that steep side hill,
That
it's nice
helps
to
a
have
lot,
them
don't
duals, man. They just,
Yeah.
I like the idea. I mean, just as long as we're gonna use the
It
old
should
groomer
eliminate
too,
us
you
some
know.
labor, and
We're that far off?
if we haven't seen yet, our most expensive thing in this city is labor. So if this eliminates some, good.
Well, we have a few individuals that work seasonal help that are, we don't know how much longer they're gonna be around, how long they're gonna stick it out, so.
No, I think everybody's all on board with that bin track from conversations I had.
I have no problem with that.
That was a good purchase on our part.
That's it.
It was you and me.
You have no idea.
She's a done deal. We even gave you money.
So you're planning on replacing the lights next spring then?
Yes.
there's 32 lights. I counted.
Oh, you told me 24, didn't you?
Budget's done. Sorry, sucker.
Yeah, I counted there's 32. I don't know what it was.
Al,
Don't worry, I'll
There's not
make
a
it
lot of
work.
fly balls to right field, just.
No, we have 8 spares. We have 8, I got 8 more up at the light plant.
When we bought that tower from Pier, did we keep the fixtures off of that?
No, that was way before me.
Troy, what do you know?
What's that?
That was before
We bought
Troy
a light
too, I
tower
think.
from Pier for $1,000. Did we keep those light fixtures?
They did not, they were not the same fixtures.
They were not, okay.
They were not. So I think, did we get rid of that
We
tower? or is
sold it to, what's his name's dad, yeah.
And
He was
those,
the bidder,
and there were, those fixtures were not the same.
okay.
We
That was
couldn't
before my
utilize
time.
those.
That was too bad, yep.
Yep. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved
All right, hit the bricks.
Is that it? Are we done?
Well, you got a review or something.
Yeah.
We're good. 19,000 to the good.
What'd we come out at officially?
19,556 to the good.
To the good?
Well,
So,
let's get it
So
all
how much
typed
is it
up
gonna
and
cost to
know for
paint those
sure.
fixtures? Can we get him to come in and do the pool? We haven't touched the
The only
pool,
thing I haven't changed.
but like to do the slides and everything?
7,000, so
I'd have to get a quote. I'd have to ask him what it cost.
Oh, I don't even see this.
Marty, thank you.
Marty?
Oh, we are.
yes, sir.
I think the uprights to the pool, to the big slide are gonna have to be sandblasted because they're starting to show some
I don't
rust.
need it though, because I already got it.
But we're gonna talk about what you want me to do.
I can,
to make
I can
that.
ask him. I'll have to book, if you're gonna do it, I'll have to get him on the books. I gotta call him back and we'll have to sign and accept that quote.
We have 19,000 surplus right now to do that with.
Yeah,
Tell them to throw it in.
I don't even think that would do one of the,
Well, negotiate.
So,
just to give you an example, like, we had the pool painted like 5 years ago or something like that.
It's 30,000.
It was exactly half as much money as it is to get it done today. That's how much paints went up.
now is where I need direction from council. So your revenues are now more than your expenses. That's awesome. To the tune of $19,556.33. I will fix that. It'll be $55. $19,555. I'm not sure why there's pennies in on that one general fund. I will get that fixed. So, because, so right now, the form you have in front of you says 12,000. I understand that, but while I was gone, you cut another 7 from cemetery. What that means is, the general fund needs $1,406,129 transferred in order to make the general fund balance. You can see that you have $1,067,454 from electric. You plan usually to spend $150 from corrections. If you take out what corrections needs to give to dispatch, that gives you an additional $81,000 that you could add to that $150. So you would have 674. I need to find where you want me to transfer $114,674 from in order to make it balance. So you said, the number one fund I see that from would be sewer, where you just cut those projects and you said, don't do them this year, so we'll save that money for the big project, but we still need to make general fund balance. So you can either take it from sewer to make general fund balance, or do you want to use cash to make it balance?
I'd take it from sewer.
Do the transfer.
Sewer revenues are gonna go up.
Let's start with communications. Let's,
Okay.
from corrections, that 558, 757, we know needs to go.
Yes.
The whole goal is corrections will transfer to cover 911, cover itself, and if it transfers in, I would like the rest of that to go toward whatever,
In the general fund to help cover code enforcement and law enforcement. Yep.
but I have a bond that I still want to pay off in 2 years, and I hope you as council. So,
So corrections is budgeted to make $789,950. You take out the transfer to dispatch of $558,757. There is $231,193 remaining, of which you could transfer all of that into the general to balance. Take all of that excess from corrections, take all of the excess from the electric, still need 114 to make general fund balance. Your sewer fund will be at 128,000 to the positive, so you do have that ability to take it from your revenues and excess. Is that sewer?
yes.
128, okay. So you can do that.
or you can use cash,
No,
okay?
transfer it from sewer, I say.
I agree.
This does only have the pool at the 48,000.
I thought we had 19,000 boot.
Overall, through the whole city, and that's what I was trying to explain earlier, yes, you wanna look at your whole city over, under, but then there's also the individual departments and funds that you have to look at. So that's where this is where, I was trying to explain it earlier, but I think having it in front of you guys helps understand that. You have to have, your general fund has to, your revenues have to equal your expenses, has to. Your enterprise funds, the purpose of those is so that your revenues exceed your
Okay,
expenses.
what's that number?
19,556.
Put 19,556
Yep, yes.
plus 48,000. And then do we have enough money in sewer to transfer 14? No, we're $5,000 short. Follow me?
So that you can get the pool project done?
Yes.
That's what you're talking about?
Well, you know, we can get the pool project done, we think with 48, but we got that $19,000 extra spending all
Oh,
our revenues.
so the places that you see that extra, water is going to make 35,000. That's where your extras are coming in. Your perpetual care, you can't touch that revenue of 3,300.
I think it's just a thing of pride to have our balanced budget and operate in no deficit spending, but put it all into the pool budget and get done what we can and try and get that guy here and do what we can with it, in my opinion.
There's enough to do all that between the water and the sewer.
Correct.
Between all of these, you could transfer it all. I mean, if you take the full million from the
Other
electric,
revenues, You're saying also.
Yeah.
So you can't take the 330,
No.
and you can't take the 284. You know that you're gonna deficit spend in sanitation of 40,000.
Correct.
But, so water, electric, sewer,
And
and corrections, you
corrections.
want all excess to go into the general fund and put that into the pool. Is that what I'm hearing?
How many dollars is that?
you don't even, you need 218,000 of the corrections, which would leave 13,000. And that's gonna go to cash on hand. I was just taking 1,413,000.
Get rid of, so.
129.
7,000 out of there too.
Minus 7,000, okay. Leaves, what, 1,406,000. You have 1,067,000 from the electrical department, 454. That leaves a balance of 338,675 that needs to transfer. You transfer the 128,578 from sewer
To general.
to the general. That leaves 210,097. You transfer 211,000 out of corrections instead of 150,
Right.
and you're good. But you still have to use cash on hand, you're saying in sanitation,
You have to use cash on hand in sanitation. There's no getting around that.
right?
Their
You
expenses
can't
exceed their
transfer it
revenues.
in to supplement it.
Well, why would you transfer in per se if you've got the cash to support
Yeah.
it?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And at the
Yeah.
end of the year, what happens to, I mean, I know all the enterprise funds, all their money goes back into cash in hand, but you've got all your general, you got all your departments that are supported by the general that
They
aren't
don't
going to
spend.
spend their entire budget.
Correct. So then that just goes back into the cash on hand in general. So when I project what your cash on hand is going
Unless
to
we
be.
encumber it, can you
You can
encumber general?
encumber, yes, absolutely. You can encumber it over to the next year, you have to do it within the month of January.
So next year, here's a thought, and part of the big picture. There will be enough in unappropriated cash in the general fund that you don't have to transfer anything, and you could just use that next year with no transfers. Not this year, but the 2025 budget.
You could-
And you could get by, I think, almost, there's gonna be more than 1.4 million in there.
Depends.
It
You wanna
depends, but
spend
I'm-
everything so you have nothing for a rainy day.
Well, it's still, you'll still have it. It'll just be in the enterprise funds. and we wouldn't transfer in 2025, all those enterprise funds would.
How much
grow.
more does the pool need? 50? Is that what I'm hearing?
I have no idea without getting that guy here.
So then do we even want to budget it, period, for the excess, and then when it comes in, then that's when you do a
Yeah,
supplemental
you don't
budget from
budget.
cash?
Yeah,
Okay, so work with the numbers we have currently.
Correct.
Get it all moved over, and that's what I will give you guys on September 5th.
correct.
Okay,
Is that okay, Troy? I mean, because we're still, if we supplement it.
We need to know that information. Yeah, we have to know.
We'll leave the 48,000 in there.
Yes.
And then,
yes,
The
yeah,
rest.
because we know that that's, I mean, it was 47,900, we know that that's the quote. Yeah.
Guaranteed number.
Which, by the way, who has that quote, so I can have it back?
What?
I gave you guys that quote from Troy from Miller
I
Painting.
sent it this way.
I need it back, because it's my only copy.
I'd send it off to this way, same way I got it from.
There you
Also,
go.
you should sign that you were here.
Oh, read.
Thank you. Did you
How
guys
many
see it
times
then?
we signed for today?
You signed one time for the special council meeting. But you do need to catch up on some of your meetings that you were at.
Oh, don't worry, I'll pre-fill them.
Lady and gentlemen, this is the most impressive budget I've seen in 8
It's only
years.
3:30.
Quite honestly, in 8 years, we've done wonders and still maintained our projects. There's one piece of equipment in here, which you guys have all deemed necessary, the Ventrac. Otherwise, we've not cut projects. We've followed through on everything that we want. And we've got plans for the future, talking water, sewer in the future,
Your raises
Slide.
are still CPI plus.
CPI plus still.
For the employees, we still hit 6.5, so that's,
You guys have done great work. We started late, we finished strong.
it's late.
Huh?
It was late.
It was late, but you guys finished strong and I'm proud of all of you. All of you. And it's 3:30.
I'll make a motion to
Adjourn?
adjourn.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Councilman Schuyler has made a motion to adjourn at 3:34. Councilman Clunt has seconded that motion. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, this motion carries, we are adjourned.
Wasn't as painful.
I've always wanted to just slam on it.
We give it